Welcome to African Tales Mirror, where vibrant African stories come alive. Don't forget to like, comment, and share as we journey through the wisdom and wonders of our heritage. Anne and Mary had been friends since childhood. They shared everything: dreams, secrets, and even their worst fears. Anne had always been the lucky one, excelling in school, getting the best jobs, and eventually marrying Emeka, a successful businessman who adored her. Emeka was a dream husband, thoughtful, loving, and endlessly generous. He showered Anne with gifts, took her on vacations, and treated her like a queen. Mary, on the other hand, struggled. She had never found true love, and each failed relationship left her more bitter. She pretended to be happy for Anne, but deep inside, envy gnawed at her. She wanted a man like Emeka, someone who would worship the ground she walked on. One fateful evening, Anne invited Mary over for dinner. They talked for hours, reminiscing about their past and catching up on their lives. Anne, oblivious to Mary's jealousy, gushed about how wonderful Emeka was. She spoke of his kindness, his romantic gestures, and even how amazing he was in bed. Mary listened intently, forcing a smile, but inside she burned with desire. She wanted Emeka for herself. Then Anne received a phone call. Her mother was ill, and she had to rush to her family home. It was already late, so Anne asked Mary to stay over until she returned. Mary agreed, her mind already racing with ideas. This was her chance. Desperate to have Emeka, Mary sought help from a mysterious prophet named Prophet Jerry. He was known for his powerful spells, but also for his dark and questionable practices. Mary arrived at the shrine late at night, her heart pounding. "I want a man," she admitted, "a married man." The prophet studied her, his wrinkled face unreadable. Then he spoke. "There is a way," he said, his voice deep and commanding, "but it will cost you." Mary was willing to pay anything. The prophet handed her a small vial filled with a golden powder. "When he rubs this on his skin, the first woman he sees will consume his heart." She reached for it, but he grabbed her wrist. "You must give me something in return," he said. "Your body. You will be mine." Mary hesitated, but knew there was no turning back. She nodded. She would do whatever it took. With Anne gone, Mary set her plan in motion. She sprinkled the enchanted powder onto Emeka's towel and waited. When Emeka returned home, exhausted from work, she greeted him sweetly. "Anne had to leave for an emergency," she said. "I decided to stay so you wouldn't be alone." Emeka smiled and went to shower. The moment he dried his face with the towel, the spell took effect. When he stepped out and saw Mary, his heart skipped a beat. Something shifted inside him. He suddenly saw her in a different light. Her beauty, her charm, her allure. Mary saw the change in his eyes. She stepped closer. "You look tense," she whispered. "Let me help you relax." Emeka tried to resist, but he was powerless. That night, he betrayed Anne. The next morning, Emeka was horrified by what he had done. He avoided Mary, filled with shame and regret. But Mary had other plans. She reminded him of their nights together, hinting that she might tell Anne if he ever ignored her. From that day on, Emeka found himself trapped. He couldn't escape Mary, no matter how much he wanted to. The affair continued, and soon it became their secret routine. Every stolen moment deepened his guilt, but he was powerless under her control. Anne sensed the change in her husband. He was distant, irritable, and always seemed to be hiding something. Whenever she asked what was wrong, he brushed it off. But Anne knew her marriage was slipping through her fingers. Mary enjoyed a new role as Emeka's secret lover, but she wanted more. She wanted to be his wife. She hinted at it, but Emeka refused. "I love Anne," he said, his voice firm. "I made a mistake, but I won't leave her." Mary smiled darkly. "Then maybe Anne should know about your mistake." Emeka froze. He knew what Mary was capable of. She had him trapped, and he had no choice but to keep up the affair. The guilt ate him alive, but he couldn't stop, and felt the cracks in her marriage widening. Emeka no longer touched her, no longer looked at her the way he used to. The love she once felt had turned cold. She cried herself to sleep every night, wondering where things had gone wrong. One day, she found a strand of long brown hair on their bed. Mary's hair. Her heart pounded. Something wasn't right. 2 years passed. Anne was a shadow of her former self. Meanwhile, Mary was growing bolder. She was pregnant with Emeka's child and demanded he make her his wife. Emeka refused. "I will never marry you." Mary was furious. She went back to Prophet Jerry, demanding a stronger spell. This time, the prophet's price was worse. "Lick my 10-year-old son, and he will be yours forever." Mary recoiled in disgust. She had sacrificed so much, but this, she couldn't do it. She refused. Prophet Jerry's eyes darkened. "Then you will suffer." That night, Mary woke up screaming. Madness had taken her. Mary roamed the streets, muttering to herself. Her once beautiful face was covered in dirt, her hair wild. The woman who had once schemed her way into Emeka's life had lost everything. Meanwhile, Anne had finally had enough. She packed her bags and left Emeka, broken but determined to rebuild her life. With nothing to lose, Anne poured all her energy into her passion. She started a business designing traditional Nigerian attire. Her brand grew rapidly, becoming the most sought after in the country. Anne was no longer the broken woman Emeka had abandoned. She was a force to be reckoned with. Without Anne, Emeka's life crumbled. He lost his job, struggling to care for the child he had with Mary. Every moment was filled with regret. He had destroyed his own happiness. Desperate, Emeka went to Anne, begging for a second chance. But Anne had moved on. "I loved you," she said, "but you chose betrayal. Now, I choose myself." She walked away, leaving Emeka with nothing but regret. Anne thrived. She had built an empire, and more importantly, she had found peace. She had lost everything, but she had rebuilt her life, stronger than ever. As for Mary, her madness consumed her completely, and Prophet Jerry, he vanished, leaving behind only whispers of his dark magic. Betrayal had destroyed lives, but in the end, Anne had won, not through revenge, but through resilience. Moral of the story: betrayal has consequences. Mary and Emeka's betrayal led to their downfall. No wrongdoing goes unpunished. Envy destroys. Jealousy can drive people to make terrible decisions that ultimately ruin their lives. Karma is real. Mary and Emeka suffered the consequences of their actions, proving that what goes around comes around. Strength in adversity. Anne's resilience and determination turned her pain into success, showing that hardship can be a stepping stone to greatness. Darkness comes at a cost. Engaging in dark and manipulative practices, like Mary did with Prophet Jerry, always leads to suffering. Self-worth is key. Anne realized she deserved better and chose herself over a toxic marriage, leading to her ultimate victory. Dear viewers, if you enjoyed this story, kindly like, comment, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.